Target.
I've heard of Target, but I've never ordered anything from there. Would you recommend it?
Absolutely. I shop there at least once a month. They have a wide variety of clothes, and the prices are really good. Some people say their customer service can be a hassle, but I've never had any problems. Where do you shop for clothes if not at Target?
Well, I used to shop at Macy's. I've always liked their clothes, but they've been pretty pricey, and recently the quality has dropped. So lately I've been shopping at Old Navy. I find their clothes are a better value for money.
So, would you suggest Old Navy as a good option?
Yes, definitely. So far,
For physical stores, we use at, so you would say, for example, I bought it at Target.
for online stores, we usually use on, so you would say, I bought it on Amazon.
This is because we say we're on a website. We also say, I bought it online, or I bought it on the internet. Be careful because students often make mistakes with these phrases. In the dialogue, you heard some vocabulary about online shopping. Look at these phrases. What do they mean? Can you explain them in English? Pause the video.
Different items, styles, and colors.
Reasonable means fair. If prices are reasonable, they're not too high. It doesn't mean the website is cheap, but if you use reasonable, you likely mean the item is good value for the money.
A hassle is an inconvenience or something that causes trouble.
Finally, if something drops, it gets worse. The quality has dropped means that the quality of their products has become worse.
There are other useful words and phrases in the dialogue. We recommend listening to each dialogue several times and noting any useful or interesting phrases.
Next, let's talk about shopping websites.
Consider these questions and think about how you could answer them with some details. For example, instead of saying, I like shopping on Amazon, you could say, I love buying clothes online. My favorite website is Target because the prices are very reasonable and their customer service is great.
You could also say, I usually buy clothes online 2 or 3 times a month. I'd advise staying away from Macy's because their quality has dropped recently.
Got it? Pause the video and try answering the questions now.
Could you do it? If not, go back and listen to the dialogue again.
Ready to move on? Let's look at the next topic. You needed a new charger for your phone.
Until recently, I would have said Amazon is the best choice, but a friend introduced me to eBay.
eBay? I've never used that.
How does it compare to Amazon?
People use eBay mainly because it's cheaper than Amazon, and sometimes they have products that are hard to find elsewhere.
Interesting. What's their customer service like?
Well, I've read a lot of complaints online, but I've only returned something once, and they sent a replacement right away.
That sounds fair enough.
Yes, I thought it was reasonable. The only downside is their delivery times aren't great. You wouldn't want to order from them if you're in a rush.
Can you see the estimated delivery times when you order?
Yes, you know what to expect. You just have to be patient. The last thing I bought from eBay, which wasn't available on Amazon, was a replacement part for my printer. They said it would take over a month, but it arrived safely in just a week.
So, you are a satisfied customer.
In the dialogue. First up, we talked about Amazon being the best choice. This phrase is handy when you want to highlight that one option is superior to others. When someone says Amazon is the best choice, it means that up until now, Amazon was considered the top pick for online shopping. It's a way to stress that it had the highest quality or the best reputation compared to other options.
Next, we mentioned that eBay sometimes has products that are hard to find elsewhere. When you use this phrase, you're pointing out that certain items are unique or not easily available on other websites. It's a great way to describe those rare finds that you might not come across on Amazon, emphasizing the special variety eBay offers.
Now, let's talk about the question, what's their customer service like? This is a way to ask about the overall quality of the customer support. Instead of just asking if the service is good or bad, this question invites a detailed description. It's a prompt for someone to explain their experience with how helpful and responsive the customer service team was.
Lastly, we touched on the downside of delivery times aren't great. When you use this phrase, you're talking about a negative aspect of the service. It means that the shipping speed is slower than you'd like. If someone mentions that the delivery times aren't great, they're indicating that waiting for their order took longer than expected, which can be a crucial factor for customers who need their items quickly.
So, next time you're discussing online shopping or comparing websites, try using these phrases to give more detail and clarity to your conversation. It's all about making your descriptions richer and more informative.
As before, there are more useful words and phrases in the dialogue. Do your own work to get the most out of these dialogues. Of course, there are many possible answers. Now it's your turn. Pause the video and try to answer the questions.
So, next time you're discussing online shopping or comparing websites, try using these phrases to give more detail and clarity to your conversation. It's all about making your descriptions richer and more
household products. I usually use a website called Newegg. They don't have as many top brands as Amazon, but the prices are great, and they often have products you can't find
ago. I couldn't find the product on any other website, and it arrived safely in just 2 weeks. I was a very satisfied customer. Some websites you use more since you've been living in the US?
Yeah, definitely. One of my favorites is a website called Shutterfly where you can order personalized gifts like photo books and custom mugs. It's really helpful when you're living far from family.
Right. I guess in some places, personalized gifts can be hard to find.
Yes, and even if you can find them, it's hard to know how long they'll take to arrive. So, I started using Shutterfly a while ago. The website is very user-friendly, so it's easy to find what you need.
That's a big plus. How does it work?
First, you choose your item, then you can personalize it with your own photos or text. After that, you just confirm the delivery address.
Sounds like a good service. I used to try sending personalized gifts, but now I just send e-cards. It feels a bit impersonal, though.
Yeah, I get that. Shutterfly is great because the items are shipped quickly and the service is reliable. They haven't let me down yet. You can navigate it without problems.
A plus is another way to say advantage. If someone lets you down, they disappoint you by not meeting your expectations.
What about you? Are you usually happy with your online shopping experiences? Share a positive experience.
Pause the video now and make a few sentences.
For example, you could say, I enjoy shopping online for gifts. I recently ordered a custom mug from Shutterfly. I was worried it might not arrive in time for my friend's birthday, but it did, and it was perfect.
Done. Great. Let's look at our last point. Speaking of being let down, I had a strange experience shopping online recently.
Really? What happened?
Well, I needed a replacement battery for an old laptop I bought overseas. I couldn't find the right one anywhere.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like manufacturers want you to buy a new device instead.
Exactly. I finally found a company that had the battery, but they said it would take 2 months to deliver. I had no other options, so I went ahead with it.
And what happened?
The ordering process was a nightmare. The website was outdated and hard to navigate.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, but I persisted. I spent weeks tracking my battery, and it disappeared off the radar. When I contacted the company, they were clueless, and they sent me a generic email saying they would investigate. Weeks went by with no updates. I was about to give up when, out of the blue, the battery arrived on my doorstep, 3 months late.
That's frustrating. Did it at least work?
Thankfully, it did. But after that experience, I'm definitely not using that website again. I left a review to warn others, though. Have you ever left a review for an online purchase?
I have, actually. I usually leave reviews when I'm really happy with something or if I had a terrible experience. It's my way of helping other shoppers.
That's a good point. Leaving reviews can be really helpful for other people. Speaking of which, how often do you read reviews before making a purchase?
Almost always, especially for big-ticket items like electronics or furniture. Reviews can tell you a lot about the product that you wouldn't find out just from the description.
Same here. I rely on reviews to help me make decisions, especially when I'm unsure about a product.
Now let's look at some key phrases from this part of the dialogue.
Clueless means having no idea or understanding of something. In this case, the company didn't know what happened to the battery.
If you give up, you stop trying to do something because it's too difficult or seems impossible.
Out of the blue is an expression that means something happened unexpectedly, without any warning.
To persist means to continue doing something even if it's difficult or you face challenges.
And a nightmare is a very bad experience or situation. In this context, it means the ordering process was really frustrating and difficult.
Next, think about your own experiences. Have you ever had a bad experience shopping online? How did you handle it? Pause the video now and try to talk about it.
You could say something like, I once ordered a laptop online, but it arrived with a cracked screen. I contacted customer service, but they were clueless. It took weeks of persistence before they finally sent me a replacement.
Or, I ordered a new phone online, but when it arrived, it wasn't the model I had ordered. It was a nightmare to deal with their customer service, but eventually, I got the right phone.
Great. Now you know how to talk about both good and bad experiences with online shopping. Remember, the more you practice, the more confident you'll become in using these phrases.
Let's quickly review what we've covered.
We started by discussing online shopping experiences, where we talked about popular websites like Target, Old Navy, Amazon, and eBay. We compared these sites based on their variety, prices, customer service, and delivery times.
We also learned some important vocabulary and phrases. For example, we talked about how to use prepositions like at for physical stores and on for online stores. We also covered phrases like a wide variety, reasonable prices, and user-friendly to describe shopping experiences.
Don't forget, we also discussed expressions like let down, which means to disappoint, and get the hang of something, which means to learn how to do something well.
We hope you found this episode useful. The next time you shop online, try using some of these phrases and vocabulary to describe your experience.
Let's wrap up with a quick quiz to test what you've learned today. Question 1. What preposition do we use when talking about shopping on a website? Option 1, in. Option 2, on. Option 3, at. Or. Option 4, off.
Question 2. Which word describes a website that is easy to use? A. User-friendly. B. Difficult. C. Unreliable. D. Frustrating.
Question 3. What does it mean when something happens out of the blue? It happens slowly. B. It happens unexpectedly. C. It happens on time. D. It happens after a warning.
Question 4. Which phrase would you use to describe a very bad experience? A. A wide variety. B. A hassle. C. A nightmare. D. A plus.
Pause the video to answer the questions, then press play to see how you did.
Answers. B. On. A. User-friendly. B. It happens unexpectedly. C. A nightmare.
How did you do? Don't worry if you didn't get everything right. Just go back and review the parts you found challenging. Thanks for watching this lesson on online shopping. Keep practicing your English, and don't forget to leave a review of your own experiences, both online and in English.
If you found this lesson helpful, make sure to like and subscribe for more lessons like this. See you next time.